Hi students, today I am going to explain about what an editorial is, how it works, its importance and the structure and how to write an editorial. At this end of the class, you have to be clear of what an editorial is and moreover, you must be able to write an editorial of your own either for a newspaper or any other publications. Do you have ever noticed that many newspapers provide news as well as opinions? Why do they do this? How do they do this? And how can this kind of information help you learn? The everyday newspaper publishes great number of news stories. These news stories are factual informations, that is, they report the facts happening in and around us. They do not include the opinions, feelings and biases of the reporters, editors and the owners of the newspapers. Any voice heard or feeling expressed in these stories comes mostly through quotations from people such as the officials, experts, witnesses or those directly involved in the story. In addition to these news, the newspaper publishes separate articles in which they express their own views on current issues in the news. Such articles are referred to as the editorials. An editorial then is the expression of the opinion or the position of the newspaper on current issues in the news. The editorial is the soul of the newspaper. It gives the color, life and recognition to the newspaper. Without the editorial page, the newspapers are not complete since it is a contemporary, energetic, vigorous and full of thoughts. The editorials or good newspapers are always interesting, lively and attract our attention. Any leading editorial article should be thought provoking instead of being partisan. It should be independent and full of inspiration for all the readers. In fact, good editorials are read with the same interest as any other part of the newspaper. Now, let us see some definitions of editorials given by various authors. The author of modern journalism, Carl Miller, defines editorial as an essay written in some urgent matter whose aim is to bring about conformity between the opinion of the reader and that of the editor. And another important definition given by G. M. Nakush is it is not only simply an essay on some important issue with a few lines of criticism or comment at the end. A good editorial is a carefully constructed analytical essay in which writer explains and interprets an event or a public issue. The old orthodox definition is it is a comment by the newspaper on current national and international issues published under the head of the newspaper or a magazine. Max Lerner believes an editorial as a comment on those trends which lie at the core of the daily occurrences. With these clear definitions of the editorials, next we shall trace the history of editorials. When tracing back the origin of editorial, it is far as 1830s. It was during this period the term editorial was used to refer the statement of editor's opinion. The word editorial was used then to refer an article written by the editor. But during the 20th century, the editorials gained more importance because it was during this period the newspaper across the world had separate editorial page for editorials and the letters to the editors. Also around this period, some newspapers started placing editorial in the left hand page, usually in front section. It is inspiring to note that modern newspapers have expanded, dignified and enriched the editorial page to the extent that it is being used to face lengthier opinions of the columnists and guest writers. This trademark is known as op-ed, meaning opposite to the editorial page. Whatever the content we deliver, there must always an appeal to the readers. This is created by the language and the style we use. What should be the style of an editorial and how should it be? The way the editorial is written, that is, its language, is usually formal because the people who read the editorial already know about the current happenings. The only thing is that they are eager to know about the wider implications of the events in the news. The style of writing might vary depending on various newspapers. If it is a large national newspaper, there might be a high standard of language. Likewise, if it is a small regional newspaper, the language style may differ. The way we write the editorials must be persuading. It should provoke the action and the change. We humans actually persuade and love to be persuaded in our daily lives. We try to convince a grocer to get discount on vegetables, we try to convince our kids, and so on. Likewise, editorials are such kind. Disparate from the news stories that simply inform and present facts, the editorials try to convince and persuade. They not only persuade and convince, but also support, criticize and defend. We can say that the editorials play the role of gatekeeping. They encourage the readers to shape their beliefs and ideas and also influence them to follow a specific way of thinking. Through expressing their opinions or judgments on the current issues, the editorials try to influence the value judgments of their readers and convince them to subscribe the specific ideology. For example, some party newspapers editorials influence on their own ideologies to persuade their followers. The editorials also encourage actions that the editors of the newspapers thinks that benefits the community. The writer of the editorials plan their articles to be written in a very careful way. They choose the topics, use different linguistic styles, collect supporting documents such as quotes from politicians and experts, reference of reports or statistics. Through this way, they try to influence the readers with what's needed and the change the readers' attitude towards them. They influence the way the people see through. Moreover, the editorial opinion generally is not personal. It does not derive from the personal experience or opinions of a single editor. Even at times, if written by a single editor, the editorials will be the opinion of the newspaper and not the editor himself. This impersonal nature of editorials affect their structure. First person pronouns and stories about personal experiences will be quite rare in them. They mostly focus on public events and support the general social, economical, political and cultural opinions usually shared by the other allied groups in the society. The editorial of different newspapers are quite diverse in their styles and textual strategies. For example, in the selection of lexical items, syntactic structures and the modes of argumentations suggesting a distinctive voice of each newspaper. The variation in textual strategies and style is according to the target readership of the newspapers. However, while the lexicon and style may vary according to the target readership, the structure of editorials is more or less the same for different newspapers. The reach and the impact of newspapers depends on the content quality of the newspaper. There must always be consideration while writing for newspapers, whether it is a news story or an editorial. Every editorial writer must know the general hints guiding the concept of editorial writing. Some of the hints are: an editorial must carry an institutional flavor. The media establishment should be here speaking in an editorial and not an individual business. The next is, like, the language of the editorial should be simple and clear. It is very much necessary that the written style of the editorial is easily understood by the readers irrespective of the purpose to influence the audience, educate or entertain them. The next is, like, in writing an editorial, there should not be any circumlocution. Whatever to be told must be said directly without beating about the bush. The editorials must be human interested oriented, and the editorials must always be catchy, attractive, attention arresting. Dull and weak editorials cannot create the desired effects on the target audience. Persuasive techniques and other appeals can be used for this purpose. Every editorial must be unique with its own originality. It must not have the influence of others' newspapers. An editorial must be well researched. Newspapers should factor timeliness into qualitative and quantitative research if an editorial masterpiece is to be produced. Editorials must be based on concrete facts, not speculations. An editorial writer must be knowledgeable about the subject what he is going to write, and also he should cross-check all the facts to ensure high credibility of the editorial. Next, let us see the structure of an editorial. Actually, a typical editorial has 4 parts. An editorial is similar to an essay in that it focuses on a specific issue or topic, it offers a thesis and provides evidence and supporting arguments to convince its readers. The title clearly identifies the topic, the introductory statement includes the writer's views on the issues, the body provides supporting evidence and examples, and the conclusion restates the writer's view and provides a final appeal to the reader to argue that view. First, the editorial title. The title of the editorials reveals what is the editorial about. Since the titles or the windows of the editorials, they must be very attractive, catchy, attention arresting and less wordy. It must not be lengthier, dull, vague and deceptive. In composing a good editorial title, Etim provides some very useful hints. Some of the best titles are actually questions. For example, can NEPA improve? Like they are asking a question and we are very much eager to know what is it about. The next one is the who, what, why and how are useful in editorial heads. Example, who shot Ibru? What a country? Who runs the economy, whether it is a central bank or IMF? How to stop the doubt? Why can't people access Sentinel Island? And the next one is, sometimes looking at common sayings, short quotes and adages may also lead to a good title. Example, Arise O Compatriots from the national anthem can form a title of an editorial calling for national solidarity. Who can bell the cat? This adage can be the title of an attack editorial on vacillations. Simple statements summing up the editorial thrust are good as titles. Example, put up or shut up, leave Tuticorin. And also, wordplay can produce titles especially for light-hearted and praise editorials. The example of this kind is Milking the Government. And next to this editorial title is the intro or the lead. It is the first paragraph of the editorial. Like the editorial title, the lead or the introduction must be fascinating and attractive so that it induces the eagerness among the readers to read the entire editorial. A good leader must be able to sustain the interest earlier aroused by the enticing title. Depending upon the creative prose and experience of the editorial writer, any kind of lead, freak lead or direct lead, address lead, etc. would perform the magic if it is really well crafted. And again the same Etim gives some sort of instructions for the editorial introductions. The newspeg, the focus of the editorial, explores the tone presaged in the title. A sample of an editorial intro in an editorial titled Nigerian Universities and World Ranking. The latest worldwide universities ranking shows that Nigerian universities have dropped out of reckoning because of the poor quality and scope of research conducted by the indigenous academics. No Nigerian university featured on the world best 500 universities list. Indeed, from the African continent, only University of Cape Town, South Africa made the list. More embracing was the fact that even among contending universities in Africa, the best Nigerian university was ranked number 44, trading behind some universities in Kenya, South Africa and Ghana. The next to this is the body of the editorial. This is the main part of the editorial. It is the place where the positives and the negatives of an issue is analyzed, conflicts of different colors are raised and resolved in the body of the editorial. The body of the editorial provides a platform for the editorial reaction. Editorial reaction concerns itself with the stand or position of the newspaper on an issue. A good editorial body must be logical and coherent in presentation and analysis of data. There must be page unity and harmony of words and ideas in the body of the editorial. In a persuasive editorial, Etim observes that this section contains the argument, evidence of fairness, credibility, appeal to the emotions, if need be, and knowledge ability, comparisons, contrast, statistics are all contained in this section. With the same example discussed like the Nigerian universities and the world ranking, the sample of the body of an editorial is given. The Nigerian academic is not lucky. He is entitled to attend international conference about once in 2 years. If he must attend other conferences, he is required to look for funding from other sources. Reputable journals which were published in the universities of Ibadan, Lagos, Suka and Ife in the past have all disappeared due to the poor funding. For example, the University of Ibadan used to be a reference point to international scholars of African history and culture. Those were the halcyon days of Professor Kenneth Dick, Festus Adi Ajay and Tekina Tamuna, etc. Indeed, Nigerian universities hosted academics and students from all regions of the world. These days, only refugees come to Nigerian universities to study. While other universities are expanding their library facilities, some federal universities have closed down departmental libraries. Ironically, most of our libraries are stocked with old volumes with cramped up spaces for the teeming population of students. Yale University has over 100 libraries. Harvard makes about $25 billion from endowments alone. With these funds, scholars have no problem whatsoever embarking on research and publishing their findings. The Nigerian government ought to take education more seriously. Usually, the conclusion may be a reaffirmation of the earlier positions and ideas advocated by the editorial writer in the body of the editorial. It may serve as an amplifier of a strong and potent view earlier, but put across in the course of writing. In handling the conclusion of an editorial, tangling modifiers and redundant words must be avoided. The conclusions is the end part of the editorial. Usually, conclusions may be a reaffirmation of earlier position or idea advocated by the editorial writer in the body of the editorial. It may be a potent view earlier put across in the course of writing. In handling the conclusion of an editorial, dangling modifiers and redundant words must be avoided. The conclusion of an editorial in the views of Okoro and Agbo could be done through either straight away summary, quotable endings, appeals for action. A good conclusion of an editorial should leave a food for thought for the audience. It must reverberate something spectacular in the editorial. The sample of conclusion from the editorial entitled Nigerian Universities and World Ranking is: the world ranking of Nigerian universities ought to be a wake-up call to all the stakeholders, including the state and federal ministries of education. The world ranking of Nigerian universities ought to be a wake-up call to all stakeholders, including the state and federal ministries of education, the National Universities Commission and the universities.
Another example of an editorial is given below. Title: Historic Handshake. The historic summit between US President Donald Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un in Singapore is an affirmation of the power of diplomacy. Until a few months ago, the two countries had been trading nuclear threats as the North raced along with its nuclear weapons program. Now, as Mr. Trump shook hands with Mr. Kim, who had once said the US President was mentally deranged. It was a reminder of Richard Nixon's groundbreaking 1972 visit to Beijing. It all began with the new South Korean President Moon Jae-in's expansive outreach to the North. Mr. Kim reciprocated by sending athletes to the Winter Olympics in South Korea in February. As the relationship between the Koreas improved rapidly, Mr. Kim invited the US President for a meeting. Mr. Trump accepted at once, surprising America's allies and rivals. However, it was not certain whether the meet would take place. Mr. Trump once called it off after threats and counter-threats escalated. But the appetite for rapprochement was clearly greater on both sides. The rendezvous was back on track. In the brief joint statement after their meeting, Mr. Kim iterated his firm and unwavering commitment to complete denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula, while Mr. Trump offered security guarantees to the North. Mr. Trump also announced that he would end the regular American war games with South Korea, a concession to the North. While the summit itself was a big success given the distance both countries covered in a relatively short span of time, it is too early to say whether Mr. Trump and Mr. Kim can pull off a Nixon-Mao type breakthrough. Conclusion. The joint statement provided few specifics on how denuclearization can take place or how North Korea's steps to dismantle its arsenal will be monitored. There are no deadlines mentioned. There is no reference to China, North Korea's only ally. There has been no word on whether the two will establish formal diplomatic ties.
So, in today's class, I hope you have clearly understood what an editorial is, the difference between a news story and an editorial, and how it works, the importance of an editorial, the structure, and how to write an editorial. Have a good day.